Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rachelle Anne Miller YouTube channel. Today I am featuring the You Are Beautiful digital stamp from Rachelle. There was also a sentiment included which is gorgeous, but for my occasion I needed something happy mail birthday kind of related, so I created my own sentiment. So that's something that you can do. I always love it when we get a sentiment on top because you get more for something and you can use the sentiment maybe with another digital stamp that you have, or maybe with a stamp that you have, a clear stamp, to put it aside of it. So I really love having the option, but if you want to, like I did here, you can always mask or snip that off and then you just have the image to color. So for my card today, I am going to include tons of purples. So it's really like a lilac kind of card. I started with a really soft purple here on the base of this apron dress kind of element, and then I took a darker purple to go on top of the circles here. So I didn't try to avoid any of the details because I knew that my combination on top would be darker, and so I could cover whatever was underneath with that darker marker. Now, for whoever is new here and doesn't know my way of coloring, I color from darkest to lightest color, but you can definitely do it in another way. You can first add a base coat of the lightest and then build up from there. It's all about having fun and liking the end result, so if you color a different way, that's perfectly fine. There is no need to change it. Because there are so many ways out there and you will see something different on every other channel by other creators, and so you do you, and in the end if you were happy throughout the process and you like the end result, that's all that matters. So again, here as well, I'm just reusing the combinations that I previously used. So it's really simple. There is purple throughout the coloring, throughout my card, and then for the hair, the butterflies, and the cat, we will do something different because, well, we cannot, well, we can add purple on anything, but, well, just to change it up a tiny bit, I will use browns. Now, normally I try to begin with the elements that I find the hardest to color, which is for me the hair and then the skin tone. But in this case, purples, I don't use them often enough, so I wasn't sure whether my coloring here on the dress was going to work, so I decided to start with that. Now onto the hair, which is not always easy. For many of you and for me as well, it is a struggle if you want to do this kind of realistic kind of hair vibe, but just try it again and again, and you will get used to it more and be more confident about yourself and how to color it, how to tackle it. So don't step away from it. If you like the way that I'm coloring here the hair and you're afraid of it, I get it, I was there, but I love coloring Rachelle Anne Miller's images. They are just adorable, and there are also guidelines. I call them guidelines. She kind of helps you with deciding how to do the hair. There are like these tiny lines on her coloring that help you go in a direction that is kind of naturally. So in case you're afraid of coloring hair, I really suggest Rachelle Anne Miller. Someone else that has also clear stamps, and my favorite things is Tiddly Inks. They have great ways of helping you with the hair. So just try those and then evolve to other illustrators that might not have these guidelines, as I call them. So try to find for yourself an illustrator that helps you, that guides you. So here for the hair, I did 2 layers. I also decided to do the shoes in the same color, which is handy. It's brown, it works always. Then I return to the hair here. If I make some mistakes, I use a colorless marker to help me push back that color, and I heat set with my heat gun the areas afterwards to help me let everything dry quicker so that it will not bleed again. Now next, let's do the skin tone. I have this basic combination that I use all the time for skin. It's E13, E11, E01 and E00. I think it works great. It's not too pale either, and I just love it for that. Also, I love coloring brown hair, so this works for me the best, but of course use any skin tone that you like. There are tons out there if you want more inspiration. Definitely check out on Pinterest. You can find really good charts filled with color combinations for skin tones. I love it for that as well. So next up, I had to decide upon the color of the butterflies, and I must admit that whenever I'm with purple, I sort of tend to go for yellow. So I did yellow, really simple again. And I started first with a lighter combination, but then I just thought that there wasn't enough contrast. So I took another darker marker to help me with that. By the way, in case you want to revisit color combinations, you can find them on the blog post, but also here in the description box down below, so that you have an easy reference. Write it down, try to color along, but know that this one, of course, is sped up. You can always find the color combinations again afterwards as well. So here I decided to add a darker marker, is yellow red 04, and then I just went on again with the first markers that I picked out for the coloring here. So really just blending it out. And then for the cat, I decided, well, I first wanted to do it in brown, to be honest, because I already have brown and I love having colors return, but I ended up going for gray, well, black and white kind of. I made it a spotted cat because we have this tail, and you can make it a spotted one by just adding a bit of that color on the head as well. So I did that really simple coloring. So just to help me with like a basic shadowing kind of thing, I first started with the white area. To give it a bit of shadowing, I used the W1. I will also add W2 later on, and I will use W2 and W1 to create some grounding all the way in the end, because I just found that it was lacking. So here I'm making it a spotted cat. Really simple coloring again, just blending it out in the face as well. And then the coloring is almost done. I will just darken that body a bit more, and then we will start creating the card. Now, something else that I always do is I just start with it. In this case, for the girl, I had the option to go vertical with my card or horizontal, and I ended up going horizontal, which was great for this, well, the card that I ended up with, but I still had the options open. I never know in the beginning how my card is going to end up. It's just an organic kind of creation for me. I don't plan anything out. So most of the time the sentiment is an afterthought. In case of Rachelle Anne Miller, I just make sure that when I print it, that it is to the right size of going onto an A2 sized card, because that's the size that I make most often. And once I know that it will fit, then I print it, and then I have to figure out which sentiment is working next to the digital stamp if I don't leave the sentiment that was intended next to it. So for this card, I took this gorgeous alphabet die that I recently got. It's the Foxtrot alphabet die from Alex Siberia Designs. I really love this wonky script, and I also thought it was going to work great with Rachelle Anne Miller's images. To cut out a frame, I used the Waffle Flowers A2 layers die. I decided that it could be a bit smaller than an A2 sized card, and then I could have the color of the cardstock that I was going to use on the sentiment return in the frame around my colored panel. So I added the have fun, a bit wonky, a bit playful I'm making sure that I am securing the have fun this way, so I just used purple tape to keep that in place. I'm also going to use that for the frame. But then next I lifted that have fun and just transported it to the purple cardstock so that I can later on die cut it from there. So this purple cardstock, by the way, is from the Florence cardstock paper. It's the 033. I have this pack, as I showed you. It has several purples, some blues. It's really gorgeous. It's actually a great pack if you don't know which colors you can mix, because I think the combination is fabulous. And I have never used it, so I was looking for a purple that was going to work with my image. And well, I have a really dark purple from Concord the 9th, but I really wanted a soft one, so this pack was great for that. Here I'm trimming off the excess of the purple cardstock. Adding a bigger piece than what I need is really handy for me, because I'm just the worst at trimming a panel exactly to an A2 size. Normally I use die cuts for that, but then it might be a bit wonky and then it still doesn't fit to your card base perfectly, so this way I have the perfect fit. Next I decided, because I really loved how I placed it a bit wonky, I decided to use the negative from the die cutting and have it as like a guide to inlay everything, to have like a tiny puzzle and make sure that I have it as I liked it. Now the lovely thing about this, if you die cut your sentiments well, on an area in a colorful paper or a pattern paper like I did, you actually can use that negative as well to put on another card and just have like images also on the side. You can definitely do that. So I'm not throwing this purple negative away immediately. I will keep it just in case. But I think you know what I mean. If my image was a bit smaller, then I could have used it on this card, but my image was kind of big, so I couldn't, well, there wasn't any space left to use this negative. So I'm just adding liquid glue on the back of my letters here, and to not have everything oozing out, I'm just dabbing off the excess a bit on that purple tape that I still have on my dies, and then I am just putting it in those empty areas to get my spacing right. You're almost there. The thing is that if in this case the liquid glue starts oozing, then I might accidentally adhere this negative to my panel, and that's not ideal. So here I have my have fun sentiment. I'm going to add this panel with some foam tape on top of my card base to have a bit of fun with dimension. And then we are going to embellish, and don't forget, we are going to add some grounding as well to this card. So I am one of those people that is continuously adding as much as foam tape as I can on the back. Something that is cheaper is to add some foam, some fun foam, and just create dimension with that, but I'm just sometimes too lazy to do that, so you just have to see for yourself. But I tend to always back everything completely so that there is less trouble through mailing. When my card arrives, I don't want it to be, well, ruined. So here on the butterflies, I ended up adding some stickles. It's the Stardust. It's a really great one. It is not distracting from the image that you colored or are coloring, and it just gives that sparkle that we all like. Now for the grounding, I'm using, as I said, the W1, W2. I'm not really great with grounding, but I just thought in this case, and I don't do it every time either, but in this case I kind of wanted to have some grounding to have her stand on, and a cat. You don't need to, definitely. You can just let it be on a white panel. We all know that she isn't floating, so This is my card for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you got inspired to start creating yourself. I want to thank you all for being here and taking the time to watch this video. I truly appreciate it, and I promise to be back soon with some other inspiration. Bye!